She stopped slurping now, so
Well.
we
That's
lost
the title.
the effect.
He stopped slurping.
The moment will live on in our memories for as long as I have memories.
They're talking about Paul S.'s dog. You can't just start a show like that. Anyway, Paul S. is here. He's going to talk about special guest, and he's going to talk about James Bond with the boys. I hope you enjoy it. I know I will. I won't be listening.
We made it.
Somebody's playing with the microwave.
Yeah, that's Elizabeth. I told her to stop that stuff, but
she's the worst. It's ambiance. It blends in with the furnace fan noise above me.
Oh, there.
Because it's fucking cold outside again.
Yeah,
it really is. So the USA played in Minnesota last night.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And like their soccer team. And friends of mine actually had tickets, and they had a ticket for me, and I didn't go, but I watched I saw the photos of the game and watched the highlights. It seems ridiculous. That they was hosting Honduras as well. I think two of the guys from Honduras
they must have
went off at halftime with hypothermia.
Yeah, it was like, I mean, when I got up this morning, it was like 15 below zero, so it must have been pretty fucking cold.
Yeah.
And that's an outdoor. It's sort of sheltered, that stadium, but it's outdoors.
Yeah, I think the USA actually scheduled it like that, so they had an advantage against Honduras. Because
I didn't know they actually. I didn't think they played in that stadium at this time of the year.
Well,
shows you what I know.
If you're going to schedule an outdoor soccer match in the middle of February in Minnesota, then you've got to think there's something nefarious going on now.
Yeah,
it was rigged.
Yeah. That actually is kind of rigged.
Yeah.
Well,
who can we play? How about, I know. A Central American country or South American.
Right.
Somebody.
Those pansies.
Maybe somebody from a jungle.
Well, I want to welcome returning guest, friend of the show, Paul S.
Returning?
Retoining.
Reclining.
Yeah, well.
Hi, Paul.
Not yet.
Hi.
Oh, and we got a special topic today.
We
I
do.
don't even know where to start on this one.
I'll start out with what I'm drinking because
I jumped ahead.
I'm drinking a vodka martini, shaken and not stirred.
Oh, okay. That's a clue. That's a clue about what we're going to talk about. Actually, we mentioned we might talk about it in the last episode, didn't we?
But nobody's heard it yet, of course.
Oh, right. I'll put this one out first to screw everyone up.
That would actually be kind of funny. But
I'm guessing Paul's drinking some sort of South Dakota craft beer or something.
Well, you know what, Phil? You would be wrong today because Paul S is is drinking a rye whiskey actually today.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I'm drinking Rabbit Hole Boxer Grail Kentucky Rye. Now I've always enjoyed I've enjoyed their bourbon before, but
yeah, I think I've had it at your house actually.
Yeah, that's right, that one. Yeah, and I've got a taste for rye recently, so I thought I'd try their rye. It's called Boxer Grail. Something to do with the boxing history in Louisville, which I have zero knowledge about. But the whiskey's very good.
It isn't about Boxing Day.
No, not Boxing Day. Apparently, cause I was reading the label and whatnot. Apparently, Louisville has a history of boxing, prize fighting in Louisville, and it's named regarding that. So
that's great. Now, when I first saw that stuff, I thought the rabbit business seems like that should be a Western thing, or it's like from Colorado or Montana or something. But no, it's just another Kentucky one.
Yes. It's out of Kentucky. It's very good. It's got like a sort of spicy, fruity flavor and aroma, and it's very enjoyable.
Well, I'm drinking
Excellent.
something that also has rye in it, but I'm drinking a beer. It's Summit Frostline Rye. So it's got some of that rye spice, but also some hop and stuff like that. It's smoother than you might think. They got a good balance in there somehow. I'm enjoying it. I've been having these the past few days.
So Summit is the brewing company, Phil.
Yeah,
Is that and that's is that a Minnesota company?
yeah, St. Paul.
Okay,
They call it.
They're really big here. Actually, I
really.
don't know how far afield they go, but they one of the earlier craft. Although I think they're much bigger, too big to be called a craft.
Yeah, they're not really a craft anymore. They got really big, but yeah, their
Regional,
Summit
maybe,
EPA or whatever is really really good.
I think they were one of the first ones I ever saw that did an IPA.
Yeah,
They were into those back when that was a new thing.
a new thing. Yeah,
So
they haven't always kept up with the trends. I mean, maybe they have some hazy thing, but I don't know. But this is different. I don't know. I like it.
Before I forget, because I forgot to bring it up last time, but Phil was over for an in-person visit, and we tried a can of New Zealand soda pop.
Oh yeah. We need to talk about that because of
And
Matt P and Bex P. Bixby. See, we won't edit this out because
no, it's
maybe we will. We'll have to. Paul left.
L&P is what it's called.
L&P.
Stands for Lemon and Peora. A Kiwi classic since 1907. That's the stuff.
What's the P word? Paola?
Paeroa.
Lemon and peyote?
See, that would be really...
No wonder it got weird.
Yeah, Bex gave me a can a while back because it came up the last time we talked on. I think it was on the big group call, and Matt apparently hates it.
Oh, I liked it,
but Bex grew up drinking it in New Zealand, and so we got to try it, and I thought it was okay. It's different. Just it's like, you think of it's not like a lemon lime soda. It's definitely a solid lemon flavor.
It's and it's not as crisp necessarily as 7-Up either, or something.
It's more like a lemon drop kind of a flavor.
Yeah.
It doesn't have the acid tones.
Right. I'll put that in some
and and
maybe
the
with
little
some gin.
The little Google snippet says flavor : lemon and sugary.
Yeah, okay.
Sums it up.
And it wasn't really sour either.
No, not at all. It's not
definitely
like
sweet
a lemon head.
Yeah. Lemon head beer. That should come out with that.
That was great to try that, though. I don't know that I'd return to it, but it's a lot better than Marmite. I'll leave it at that. Sorry. So
throw the Marmite lovers.
We got that out of the way at least.
Okay, fine.
So as Phil mentioned on our last episode, we talked a little bit about James Bond movies because I ran into yet another list of all the James Bond movies that were ranked. There have been lots of these. Everybody has strong opinions on them, and it's such a long running franchise that I think it's interesting just as how it's evolved and everything. But I thought it was a good opportunity to revisit that because Phil and I obviously grew up watching them, and so many other people we know did too. We thought we would have that as our main topic. Not that we can't talk about other things, but that seems like
there's
a good one.
There's a lot to unpack with James Bond.
There is, and that list is actually a really good starting point. I've read that list that you sent, John, and it's very, very questionable to me in places how they rank some of those movies.
Absolutely. Yeah.
It really is.
That's part of the fun, though, and how I like to think of it is it really depends. I mean, I think there are some objective good and not good ones, but so many of them are what are kind of predicated on what you really want out of the series, what you expect, and also what
Yeah.
you are like, say, when you grew up with a certain
Absolutely.
ones. Like Phil and I, most of the ones that were new when we were growing up were the Roger Moore ones.
Sure.
Yep.
But,
Me too. That's who I grew up. I grew up thinking Roger Moore was James Bond, and then I figured out other people were James Bond before him.
like what is this, fucking Doctor Who or something?
Right.
But my backstory with this is a little different because my father was also a fan of the Bond movies, but he was a Sean Connery fan.
Oh yeah.
And that rubbed off to me as well. So I kind of had the conflicting 60s and 70s Bond thing.
Well, they are both different.
Yeah, and that's part of the fun though, is how they're
Yeah.
played and all that kind of thing is. And Phil, I did mention that one series that by that one internet writer, a different list, and actually he didn't. I'm not sure he ranked them, but that Film Crit Hulk guy. And besides, he had 2 points which I think are interesting, even if you don't agree. That the overall quality of the each Bond movie is related to the strength of its female characters. And that's an interesting way to look at it. And the other thing that seems to be a theme with his series of reviews were that each James Bond movie is a reaction to the previous one. And I think that's a very strong thematic thing. And if you look at them chronologically, they really do seem to go in different directions depending on what the previous ones did.
They do, and they're all very much of their time as well, aren't they?
Very, very much, and that's how you. And they're since they're still a living franchise, so to speak. They're judged differently than a lot of other movies of the 1960s, for example. A lot of people today do not watch movies from 1966, for example.
Right.
I mean, unless you're into old movies, you don't usually watch them, but a lot of people who don't watch those movies do watch From Russia with Love or Goldfinger, things like that. And the way people look at them is really they're probably held up to higher scrutiny or judgment than other movies at the time. That which is interesting. I mean, they and so like a lot of classic movies, again, they're of their time, and you have to. I don't want to say cut them some slack, but at least be understanding of the norms of society at the time.
I think we're at a point where you cannot watch historical movies, and we can call them historical because they're that old at this point. You cannot watch historical movies without giving them some leeway.
Maybe even absolutely. Live and Let Die.
Right.
Live and Let Die is not the worst.
No, it's
isn't.
not.
No,
yeah, I mean, you need to. If you go back into the Sean Connery era, then you'll find some much worse stuff than what's in Live and Let Die.
Didn't Roger Moore or one of them, or no, maybe it was Sean Connery.
You're thinking of the
disguise
Japanese
himself
one.
as he had to disguise
that's Sean Connery.
Yeah, that's You Only Live Twice, I think.
That is for sure Sean Connery. He goes undercover as like a Japanese fisherman or something.
Yeah, he does his eyebrows and has this fake wedding and all this weird shit.
Right, it's weird. Roger Moore goes undercover with about 20 different identities in Octopussy, but I don't think
what's going on with that one?
He doesn't actually. Well, Roger Moore goes undercover as like a clown and various other, like a knife thrower.
I forgot about the clown. That's great.
I mean, it's pretty funny, but I think it was Sean Connery the one that stands out is was it You Only Live Twice, John, where he dresses up as the fisherman?
The Japanese one, I want to say yes.
Yeah, I think you're right. It was. It's pretty bad.
I like that voodoo guy though. Who is speaking of 7-Up? That Jeffrey Holder or whatever that guy.
The crisp and clean and no caffeine guy.
7-Up. Yeah, he has such a cool voice. I think he was a dancer or something. I don't know. But
Yeah,
yeah.
I think it's You Only Live Twice. It's the one. It also has the great line: "Is why do Chinese girls taste different from all other girls?"
Oh
it
yeah.
Yes,
does.
it's the
Maybe it
Japanese
does.
fisher one. That is it. That's the one. 1967.
Ouch.
1967.
It's
Yeah.
even older
yeah.
than me.
Is that after
Yeah.
he kisses her or something, or what?
That's in the opening scene. I guess he's making out with somebody, and
So
then probably he kills her after he
Odd.
says that.
Odd. She got in the way.
Oh, so let's start it out by maybe naming our favorite James Bond actor, and maybe if you have one, your favorite movie, least favorite movie, that kind of thing. If that makes sense,
Yeah.
we can kind of dive into some of the in between stuff. Paul, if you're up,
sure. Well, I'll go right ahead and say that Daniel Craig has been my favorite. And I'm not sure that it's because of Daniel Craig. It might be just because of the movies he got to play Bond in, and the fact that he got a story arc. Because Casino Royale for me is my favorite Bond movie to this point. And
Wow.
yeah, and he had a real story arc. I just think he's been great. Is they of the 5 movies he did, there was one bad one. The rest were either good or really good. Uh, yeah, so Daniel Craig for me, the worst in my mind would be Pierce Brosnan.
okay, yep.
And I think he had all the potential to.
Oh, there was a lot of hype with him going into that. I remember.
Right, I think he had a lot of potential, and it might have been just because it was the wrong time for him to get that, but I didn't really like any of the Pierce Brosnan movies. I know that GoldenEye was rated pretty highly, that he did, but yeah. So I would say Daniel Craig was my favorite. Roger Moore, because I grew up with him, is kind of got a special place for me. But Daniel Craig is
Yeah.
my favorite, and Pierce Brosnan my least favorite.
All right. Fair enough.
And do you have a favorite movie? Is Casino Royale your favorite?
I would say Casino Royale was number one. Now, my favorite Roger Moore is not the spoiler, For Your Eyes Only,
Agreed.
which is absolutely ridiculous. It's ridiculous. There's no real great story. You've got a teenage girl fawning over some 50-year-old man.
Oh, that's so
there's
cringy right
but
now.
the action sequences and the fun in that movie and just the nostalgia for me growing up.
Now, is that the one where he drives the Lotus out of the ocean onto the beach?
No, I don't.
Oh,
think
that's
it is.
the other one.
Yeah, it's the one. It's the one in the
Kyle Love
ski
Me.
resort where he skis off a cliff and he's got like the Union Jack on his
I
parachute.
do love that one too, and I actually have a vivid memory of seeing that one at
And
the
there's-
Oaks Theater in Rapid City. Actually,
And there's this amazing chase sequence with skiing and
I was going to say
motorcycles.
that might be the best. That might
It's
be the
hilarious.
best chase scene. I
Yeah,
think.
it's amazing.
it's
It
like a
really is.
cartoon.
But but with every Roger Moore Bond movie, there is an element of ridiculousness.
Yeah.
So that is like my cult favorite, but my actual favorite movie as a movie is Casino Royale.
No, the ski chase scene is probably my favorite chase scene in a Bond movie. I think
It's one of the most fun for sure.
it would be hard to pick a favorite chase scene, I guess. But
And Paul, do you have one that's just the worst that you would not watch or rank last?
So
I know that's kind of hard. Actually.
yeah, it's kind of hard because what is there, like 25, 26 of them, right?
Yeah, 26.
So maybe one of the Pierce Brosnan ones. The World Is Not Enough. Did he do that one? That was Pierce Brosnan, right?
The list we referred to, Die Another Day, was ranked last.
Oh, Die Another Day. So yeah,
That's
was
a good
that was
title.
a Pierce Brosnan one, wasn't it? I think that was last on that list thing that you sent as well. So the Pierce Brosnan ones, they were just
he didn't have a lot to work with there either. But
He did not. He did not. The World Was Not Enough, though, did have a good song. We should talk about that as well soon.
Yeah,
Garbage.
yeah, the songs, yeah.
That should be something we should discuss as well. But I would just say, just throw a dart at any Pierce Brosnan movie, and that's my worst one.
all
Okay.
right,
Got it. Phil.
where are we starting? The best Bond? I think I would have
Yeah,
to go
who is
with.
your favorite?
Oh, that's I don't know. I'm just gonna say Roger Moore, just because he epitomized that. I like the witty. Yes, it got really silly sometimes, especially as he got older, but and less realistic. But and yes, I'm biased probably because that's the one I grew up with. I just remember going to the theaters. I mean, I even liked Moonraker when I was a kid. So I mean, Jaws. We could talk about bad guys too, but
Yes.
so I'll go with that. Favorite movie though. Oof, I don't know. I think I remember liking Goldfinger quite a lot for some reason. Or Octopussy? That was silly. I don't know.
Octopussy is like ridiculously silly, but ridiculously
Well,
fun
with
at
a
the
name
same
like
time.
that.
Yeah. Well, right. I don't. I couldn't call that one my favorite, but yeah.
You
My-
can't ignore it.
I do remember enjoying certain things from Live and Let Die quite a bit. I guess I just like the sillier stuff better, but the when I saw the Sean Connery ones, they were like on TV, or I don't think I ever saw any of those in a movie theater, so that would have probably been a different experience. But I remember enjoying them as well. So there's probably a favorite movie in there somewhere. Those was definitely some pinnacle of James Bond movies. There, with Daniel Craig, the Daniel Craig series, I totally understand where they had to do something different and to reinvent it, which maybe they've tried. I think they have tried in other, even with Pierce Brosnan, there was a torture scene or something, I think, at one point. But I think my least favorite Bond probably was Timothy Dalton, though. I think
Mm-hmm.
he the one. I think he was the one after Roger Moore, right? Because Pierce
Yes.
Brosnan was going to
He
do
was.
it, but they wouldn't. Remington Steele wouldn't let him out of the contract to make a movie or something, or I don't remember what the story was there. So it would have been interesting if Pierce Brosnan could have gotten in to the franchise a little bit earlier. Maybe it would have been better, but they weren't doing very good writing in that time period anyway. So maybe it wouldn't have mattered. I don't know. Timothy Dalton. I just seem to remember it didn't seem like he it almost felt like he didn't want to be doing what he was doing or something. I couldn't quite figure it out. Maybe if I watched it again, I'd
I actually didn't
reconsider.
mind him.
Yeah.
I didn't mind. I didn't mind Timothy Dalton. I remember Pierce Brosnan being the one that I was like, I didn't quite get it, but I got it with Timothy Dalton.
Well,
I
maybe
think
I should
that,
relook at it again.
again, I don't think he had great movies to work with, Timothy Dalton. And what did he do? Maybe 2, 3?
Yeah.
He only
Sure.
did 2, yeah.
Yeah, he only did 2. So
That was the title
he
of one
only
of the
did what?
movies.
Living Daylights is the first one.
And then he only
Right,
did
right. The Living Daylights. And I actually didn't mind those movies, but maybe those movies did come around for me at a time where I was watching a lot of movies and I liked James Bond a lot because of Roger Moore, and maybe I just accepted him a little bit better.
and maybe that was
time,
why I
but-
didn't, because I liked Roger Moore. So I don't
Right.
know. Right.
But-
So it influences
Yeah,
things.
yeah, maybe.
I don't know. What was the other thing what was the other topic we were going on? Worst movie? No, I don't know. I don't even know.
Yeah, if you had a worst one, I mean, maybe you don't.
Octopus is probably like the best and worst of, in some ways. But yeah.
Oh,
I
it's
don't know.
insane. Octopus is insane. It's so funny.
I was reading about it in that list, and I was like, I don't even remember some of this stuff. I kind of want to
Yeah.
rewatch that. It sounds, because I also liked of course, the Peter Sellers movies, Inspector Clouseau and that kind of thing, the Pink Panther movies, and so, he'd have all these outrageous disguises and stuff. It was just hilarious. So I kind of want to go back and see Octopussy now after reading about it again. I haven't seen any of these movies except the Daniel Craig ones for 20 years. So
I will go, and this is a hard. Picking a favorite is tough, and like Paul, I think I probably have a nostalgic favorite and another favorite, I guess. Nostalgic favorite actually is probably Roger Moore, just because again that was the one that back in the '70s I saw, and
Yeah, it's a
probably
generational thing, isn't it?
yeah, it really is. Although I find them hardest to watch today, though, for some strange reason, even though they're nostalgic. And the ones I find to be the most just like, oh, comfort watch are probably the Sean Connery ones, just because
so
so much of
smooth.
them are real classic. And I actually, I'm pretty indifferent about Timothy Dalton. I he didn't make much of an impression. He didn't quite have. He seemed kind of in the middle of the edgy James Bond type and the kind of wisecracking suave. He didn't quite have either of them down. It seemed like, and
Yeah.
that may not be his fault, but
Right.
he seemed to split the difference, and it just didn't work great.
But even with Roger Moore, I think he had more movies to grow into that too. So
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Dalton was kind of given a, and everybody at the time I remember wanted Pierce Brosnan and thought he should be the one,
yeah,
and they didn't get him, and they got him, and I think he was unfairly compared to what people thought they wanted, but
yeah. All right.
and I think, let's see, Pierce Brosnan I actually liked okay. He did well. He seemed to handle all the aspects of the Bond character pretty well. He definitely had the suave down. Although by the time he did the films, he seemed a little old
Yeah.
for that, because I mean he'd been working for many years in TV and everything, so he was not a young man. And only if you compare it to Roger Moore, as he seemed too old. But so really, yeah, I guess if I really come down to it, it's the two originals, just because of what I grew up with. But
Sure.
if I have a favorite, one of the things I've always, my first appreciation besides the silliness of the James Bond movies is kind of the Cold War spy type thing, which kind of got me more into things like John le Carre, things like that, which are more serious, of course. But for that reason, my favorite still remains From Russia with Love.
Yeah,
which
that holds up really
is
well.
the least silly of least of the early films.
That's the one with Robert Shaw in, right?
It is, and they have that amazing fight on the train.
Yeah,
and it has that Soviet woman Rosa Klebb, I think, who has the like spikes in her shoes and all that shit. And
Nice.
It's just really it's a great Cold War. It's the closest thing the James Bond movies ever came to being just a straight up Cold War spy thriller, because it actually has a spy plot. It's really least dependent on gadgets and things like that, and that one just seems to really have a great story and pacing and everything. So if that's the one I think is the best, or my favorite of the movies. Although in some ways, I think On Her Majesty's Secret Service is one of the best movies as far as it, character stuff and everything else. And
is that the first one with George Bernard Shaw or something?
George Lazenby, yeah.
Oh yeah,
it's the only one with George Lazenby.
Exactly.
Laserbeam.
George Laserbeams.
I never have seen that movie.
He would
I
have
don't think.
stuck around if he had that name.
They could have had a movie called Laserbeam.
That movie really has a lot of heft to it, though, because
his wife dies or something.
Yeah, well, he gets married.
Yeah,
that's very
briefly.
Yeah, it doesn't last.
Well, they sort of referenced that in the Daniel,
though, too, and she was great.
They revisit that in the Daniel Craig stuff too.
It's also got the best music in it.
That's right. It does have great music.
I need to watch it. I don't think
and
I've
he
seen
impersonates a Scotsman. Like wears a kilt and all that stuff. It's really different.
it. Okay.
Because Lazenby was Australian, right?
I think, yes, I believe that's right.
Pretty sure he's Australian.
that was the whole. Everybody wanted Sean Connery, and of course he came back for another movie, which he probably shouldn't have. But
Yeah.
but that movie is kind of in a weird class by itself. I mean, yes, you it's a James Bond movie, of course it is, but it's also not.
I think they were
really
experimenting
have
with the
a lot of the
multiverse.
There you go.
They could have had several James Bonds in one movie. They didn't do parallel universe though.
Interesting. So my least favorite, is that's so hard. The one I saw most recently that I really didn't enjoy was Live and Let Die, just because of all the kind of crappy racist crap in it.
Yeah,
and the very weak blaxploitation kind of stuff they did and all that. That really, I had forgotten all that stuff.
I remember liking it when I was younger, but I started it more recently, and I was like, I don't even think I'm going to finish this.
Well, yeah, exactly. And it often, I think of it, I used to rank it a lot higher, partially because of the song.
Sure.
It has the classic Paul McCartney song.
Yeah. It also has Roger Moore jumping on crocodile heads to escape.
All that stuff in Louisiana.
Which can never be underrated at any time.
No, that's a good scene. Well, didn't even in Octopussy, I think he was disguised as a crocodile in one scene, wasn't he? I think so.
Probably.
I think he was underwater.
Let's tie it back to South Dakota. One of the crocodiles that Roger Moore jumped on was actually at Reptile Gardens in Rapid City.
Oh, for Pete's sake. They paid extra for that one.
I don't know, probably.
Well,
they just
need to
said
put that on the billboard.
With those tourists.
I'm sure I read that somewhere. I'm pretty sure I'm not making that up right now.
No. Well, Faith S would know. Maybe Faith
S may know that. Yeah,
she
knows the lore.
I don't know. You could play tic tac toe with the chicken that was in Live and Let Die. No,
I need to go get some ice. I was
I'm gonna
get my bourbon bottle. My rye bottle near me, but I need to go grab ice.
Let's take a quick break. I'm gonna
ice break.
Get some real. Sorry, James Bond. I'm gonna get a real drink. So.
All right.
We're right back.
He's getting ice 'cause he likes his drinks cold. He's getting ice 'cause he likes his drinks cold.
Well, I'm back. Is anyone else back?
John.
Are you back, Phil?
I'm back. Well, let's just wrap this up without John. No, I'm kidding. I got a new co-host today, starting just now. It's kind of like the James Bond. You get a new James Bond every few years, and traded John K. in for Paul S. No.
I'm not sure my musical ability to finish the show, though, Phil.
Oh wait, yeah. Hold on.
I may have married into musical ability, but I don't possess any of my own.
And it's not like you can talk Elizabeth into helping me with the song. She's too busy.
She's always busy.
That's a Knowles thing.
It is a Knowles.
They're always so busy.
Oh, he's back.
Whoops.
I was busy. I had to let my dog out.
No, we were talking about the Knowles family trait, the K family trait, I should say. Of
they know who I am.
just being so flippin' busy, it seems like.
They're busier than me.
Yeah,
They're a
maybe
busy
you
bunch.
The ones out there, I should say.
you didn't inherit that gene.
Guess not. That's
Oh,
okay.
you get pretty busy sometimes.
Oh
But
yeah.
with he's new busy with Bertie right now.
Oh yeah. Well, it really sucks when you have a almost 8-month old puppy getting her enough exercise when it's so cold out.
Yeah,
Well, they get stir
That's
crazy or
rough.
something.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
It's tough.
Yeah, a little
Can't
doggy
wait till
treadmill
it
from
gets a little
Chewy.
warm. I can't. Yeah, I can't. It's too cold to go to the dog park or anything like that.
Well,
Just not
how about animals in James Bond movies? I know there was the cat.
Blofeld's cat.
Blofeld's white cat.
Yeah, that was classic.
Well, that's a good segue. How about villains?
Sure.
Oh
Yeah, that's a
yeah,
good
villains for sure. Who's your favorite villain?
Do you go first this time, John?
I guess
We'll go in reverse order.
I think Blofeld is too there because there were several versions of him. It's a little hard.
Oh,
There's the
sure.
Donald Pleasance one, and then there's at least one or two others.
Telly
Oh.
Savalas.
Telly Savalas. Okay, he's not the best. Sorry, Telly. I don't know. I mean,
Wow.
I still have a soft spot for Goldfinger, of course. Goldfinger is still one of my favorites, even though it does have a scene in it that doesn't age well with Pussy
Oh.
Galore.
And Goldfinger had one of the best henchmen because he had Odd Job.
Oh, yes. Odd Jobs is maybe my. I mean, for me,
Oh,
I know Phil,
he's the
you
guy
really
with the
like
hat,
Jaws.
right?
Yeah, he had a hat that could take off the head of statues.
I know, I love that.
No,
He does that.
He's
and like,
definitely
Odd
definitely the
Jobs.
best henchman.
Does he even talk? I don't think he even has any lines.
Doesn't need to, John.
No,
Just got
no.
the hat.
And the
Yeah,
presence.
he has the hat, and his presence, and not
and
only
that
that, but
suit.
he really is Odd Jobs because he has all these skills. He knows people at the salvage, the junkyard that can destroy cars.
that was
them.
one of the best names too. Yeah.
Odd Jobs. Oh yeah,
That was a
that
good
one
one.
is so great. Yeah, that's Odd Jobs and Goldfinger, mainly because Goldfinger had one of the best villain quips. No, Mr. Bond, I expect you to die.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Which that even though it wasn't the actor's real voice, but we'll let that pass.
I think you had your computer shut down with that sound, that quote, didn't you? In the old days, the old Apple days.
You mean the one where it was really novel to assign little sound clips to all the things
for when you
your
start a
Mac used
computer,
to do?
or
Yeah, that was a great fun like 30 years ago.
well, sure, we didn't have beams or something,
Yeah,
but I wonder how much time I wasted trying to find the right sounds for.
Oh,
each thing.
I used to have these turn into computer nostalgia, and this utility that you used to be able to put in and assign it. And the worst practical joke you could do to an old like 1980s Mac, talking about really old stuff, is that if you could set this thing up so it would assign a sound clip to even a keystroke, which was, why would you want to do that? I don't know, but you could. And these sound clips could be of any length you liked. So you if you put them at really loud, like 30-second long ones, every time you did a keystroke, it would load the sound clip, and they had a little bit of a lag. They didn't just pop up right away because the computers were so slow.
Oh,
and it was the worst practical joke you could play on somebody who had a Mac, is to set that up.
no, that's
And
mean.
I'll leave the last get off my tangent here.
That was my fault.
You used to be able to do these weird things with old Macs, like mess with the core of the operating system to modify them, because it wasn't very locked down and secure. So,
Unlike a iPhone, or something.
So the Mac would start up with this little screen, the little Happy Mac or whatever, just like modern ones start up with an Apple logo, and Windows starts up with the Microsoft blah blah blah. And on those old Macs, you could actually put a different image that would load when the computer starts up. And
Yeah.
somebody, and I saw this in college, I think, but somebody made a fake image of a little dialogue box with a warning on it that said, "Are you sure you want to erase the ROMs?" Question mark. And the tool, there's usually a cancel and an OK, and instead of cancel and OK, they had OK, I guess, and the other one said, "Please no." and the please no was grayed out.
Yeah, you couldn't actually select it.
No, and of course you couldn't do anything. It was just a still image, and it went away when the computer finished starting up. But if you didn't know about it, you'd think something horrible was happening, and you couldn't do anything.
You'd have to have a Linux now or something.
Know why. I still find that just had to be there, maybe, but
I don't know.
So, John, anyway. What real drink did you go get?
I just got some standard issue 4 Roses bourbon.
4 Roses, huh?
Which is kind of my current daily driver.
That was a good Shirley Bassey song. 4 Roses. No.
So, Phil, what's your favorite villain? Is it Jaws or? Let's stay on target.
Well, I do have a fondness for Jaws, and one of the best death scenes of. Was he? I think I read he was in more than one movie, but I can't remember.
Yeah, he was.
He does come back. Was it Moonraker where he shows up again?
No, Moonraker was the one I remember him in.
Moonraker, they tried to make him like all cuddly, don't they? Because he has
that's right. He turns to the good side or something.
Yeah, he has like a relationship with somebody, and they try to make him.
Maybe they thought they'd have action figures or something. I don't know.
Oh yeah, because I think at the villain's big speech at the end, he turns on him or something like that. I don't remember.
That's right. Yeah,
picks him up and throws him off a.
Yeah, very very Darth Vader and Emperor.
I was just. I'm seeing that montage of those two things merged together.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay, Jaws. Well, so let's see who else. Well, the Daniel Pleasant Blofeld guy's makeup was interesting. That's for sure.
So I always liked Blofeld better when you couldn't see him and you just kind of heard it. You saw his outline or his cat maybe, but you couldn't really see his face. He just talked.
Yeah, made it more
a little mysterious.
Yeah, and then you see his face, and he's of course got this huge scar in his eye.
Of course, it was ruined by what's his name movies.
Well, yeah,
you know what I'm talking about,
sure. Austin
Powers movies, yeah.
Yeah.
Which that skewered it so well, but after that, it's hard to.
Oh, you can't really go back. Yeah. Oh, the guy with the 3 nipples. That's probably good.
Scaramanga.
Yeah.
Christopher Lee. Christopher Lee, who's been in every successful franchise movie ever made, ever.
You know how there's a.
He's done all of them. He's done the lot, everything.
You know, for award things, there's what's called the EGOTs, where you have the Emmy, the Oscar, and all that stuff. They should have an award for anybody who's in every big franchise.
Oh, was he? Was he in Marvel? The Marvel universe, though.
Is he in Marvel?
He was dead by then, wasn't he?
Yeah, he's got to be alive when the franchise is to qualify for the award.
I just remember I was like, he has 3 nipples. I was like, what? And that's evidently a thing. You can actually, there's a word for that, which I don't know offhand. But
Christopher Lee is great, no matter what, though.
And who knew he had 3 nipples?
Yeah.
I think he didn't even need makeup.
No. Okay, Paul, who's your favorite villain?
Well, I think we discussed all the classic ones, really, over the years. The one, Jaws stands out just because he was a Roger Moore villain. I can't remember where he showed up before Moonraker, where there was the big fight with Roger Moore. I think it was on a train,
Yeah.
and I can't remember where it
How
was,
many how
but
many train scenes were
there was lots of fights on lots of trains over the years. But but Jaws is the one that sticks out just from that Roger Moore era. But honestly, I really loved Javier Bardem
there? Yeah, yeah.
in the Daniel Craig
That was
series.
such a weird
He's
character.
just great in general. Yeah.
Oh no, he's yeah. The
I
first time
just
I saw
think
him was
he's so good. No matter what scene he's in, he just steals everything. He's just so good, and
yeah.
I. So I want to say
What
what
was
was
with
it?
his hair though?
It was Spectre, right? That he was no Spectre was Christopher Waltz, so he would have been in Skyfall.
Yes, Skyfall's right.
Yeah, so he would have been in Skyfall, and I just thought, and this is kind of bringing it up to present day, but
Yeah.
just recently, I just thought he was wonderful, and I really because I was let down a little bit with Rami Malek in the latest one. I didn't think he
I
was
haven't seen that one yet, so
that
I'm
great.
embarrassed to say I've not seen it yet either.
Yeah, I didn't think he was that great, and I like Rami
Yeah.
Malek, but
Maybe
and,
not cast correctly. I don't know.
and Christopher Waltz obviously was one of the new villains who I love, and Christopher Waltz in Tarantino's Inglorious Bastards is one of the best
Steals the
villains
show.
ever. Uh,
oh
but
sure.
but yeah, Javier Bardem sticks out for me recently.
Cool.
Yep, definitely.
I'll also give honorable mention for, and this will be a little controversial, but Jonathan Price in
Well, I
he
was
Tomorrow
great.
Never Dies.
I was
Yeah,
gonna think
I
I was
agree.
thinking about
Which
that too. 'Cause-
mainly because it's such a forward-looking kind of thing
it's
for
prescient.
1997. Yeah, it's very prescient
It's weird.
and my prescient. Yeah,
He's basically Rupert Murdoch, right?
yeah. It's really quite remarkable, and it seemed a little on the nose at the time, like oh haha, but now actually it
Oh
plays
man,
really,
now the
really
way
true.
things have gotten, it was like, it
Yeah.
wasn't that far fetched.
Yeah,
Jonathan Price is great, and I think that role was great. That was one of the Brosnan ones, right?
Mhm.
That was a Brosnan Bond, and
that one's
Thunderball.
pretty good, and I actually still think GoldenEye is a pretty good movie. I rewatched that not too long ago, and that holds up relatively well.
Which era was that?
That's Brosnan again.
Okay.
yeah, that's Brosnan era there. Yeah.
So yeah, he had a couple of okay ones. They're not in the top or the bottom tier, but really good. How about the music? So
Well, yeah.
I as far as the setting aside the songs,
Oh,
the ones that still seem memorable to me are the old John Barry composed scores for the older ones.
yeah.
Just they have that great
Yeah. Well,
character to 'em.
on Her Majesty's Secret Service is the only Bond that doesn't have a song at the beginning.
Oh, you're right. That's
It's
another reason
just-
why that
it's-
one stands out.
Weird.
It's just the John Barry Orchestra, and that theme is amazing. So for me, that's on Her Majesty's Secret Service. I know that George Lazenby being his one and only Bond is a thing, and his wife dying is a thing. But for me, the big thing about that movie was how great the music is, because you have the Bond theme, you have On Her Majesty's Secret Service
Yeah.
theme, and you also additionally you've got Louis Armstrong
Oh my god, that's right.
with we've got All the Time in the World, which was the last song I think he recorded before he died as well.
That time's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
the music
Yeah.
in that movie is actually better than everything else for me.
Yeah, that's really a good point, and one that stood out for me also because I recently watched this movie that came out in the 1960s called The Ipcris File, which
Yeah.
have you ever heard
I
of that
know
one?
of that.
Michael Caine.
Yeah. Yeah.
That the weird thing about that, it came out at the same time as the I think it came out maybe around the time Goldfinger or something like that. It's right in that time period. and it's a really different kind of spy movie. Really, really well done. If you haven't seen it, it's worth watching. But it's one of the producers on it is one of the Bond producers.
Mm.
Well, it wasn't Broccoli; it was the other guy. I forget his name, but
Broccoli.
it has that connection. And the other thing that's connected is John Barry does the score, and it's a great score too.
Cool.
He just had a
Man.
line of great
Guy's a
scores during that
genius.
time. Yeah. So that one I just stuck right there. It's like, wow, this is another. It's a little bit like James Bond's score, but it's just a little different. It was great.
So recently, I was trying to find what was that scene with the ski chase, because I wanted to see that. So I was searching for that, and the music in that is it almost is like a video game. Like it sort of reminded me of the Mega Man. It was like dee, 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 almost, and I was like, this music doesn't really fit this scene, but it was funny. I don't know. It was kind of tinny, and it was weird, but I don't remember that. Of course, the 80s. You got songs like Duran Duran, of course.
And that one might be the best thing about that particular movie.
Yeah.
And it's also one of the worst. I mean, I love Christopher Walken, but wow, what a waste.
It was a waste. In fact, Grace Jones upstages Christopher Walken in that.
Yes.
Oh, Grace Jones. Oh, she was maybe the best. I had a thing for her for a while. Maybe she was the best henchman.
She's so striking looking, isn't she? She just can't stop looking at her.
No.
Nope.
Amazing.
She's unique.
And kind of sometimes androgynous too, which was fun. I don't know.
Totally. She's got the Bowie thing going on. You can't, but again, you can't stop looking at them. You can't.
No, they should have had a baby. Maybe they had a baby. I don't know. Maybe they're in a.
They probably did.
We should have if we somehow get their DNA together, that would make a wonderful Bond villain.
Bowie and Jones.
Hey, his name was Jones, really.
One of the things I have trouble with
in
a lot of these, the whole series in general, is how it kind of tries to, because let me back up a little bit. The Ian Fleming novels and everything were very much a Cold War kind of setting. Yeah. Even though he almost never fights the Russians or anything like that. But it's a very Cold War, and it felt like they had a lot of trouble adapting that to the post-Cold War eras. And that's one
right,
thing
because who's your bad guy going to be? As a terrorist or?
That's the problem. It's like when you got into the 90s, there was like drug lords and all that stuff, and that really felt false. And like they hadn't figured that out, and I think they did find that was one of the benefits of the Daniel Craig ones. The writers actually figured out how to, we're going to bring this into the modern era and not just pretend.
And they did
it's still going on.
They did it very well as well. Yeah. They really grasped the feeling of the time. And they did that well. They made it a real threat, and they made it achievable for them to defeat the threat, which was good.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah. That's one reason why, again, they worked well, and really Craig didn't try and. He didn't try and act like any of the other ones.
No.
Buffy.
Who's that?
That's Buffy.
Fluffy? Buffy. Right. Buffy.
Oh my! Yeah, I just had to go deal with Buffy. The other the golden retriever. It's National Golden Retriever Day today, by the way.
No, is it really?
Well, there's a national day for everything now, and apparently it's National Golden Retriever Day today.
Well, okay.
Tomorrow is
my golden retriever is barking at some unknown threat in the backyard. Maybe it's Scaramanga and his three nipples.
I was going to say tomorrow is National Three Nipple Day. So
so Hervé Villachez was his was Scaramanga's like buddy. What was he called in that? I can't remember.
It wasn't Tattoo also. No.
Tattoo.
Tattoo.
Can anyone remember? No.
Could
That was
Google
the man with the golden gun, right?
No, that's the one out of that time I know the least. I think
I do
don't
remember. I always Hervé
Or is
Villechaize was
that the
fun.
one with has the two assassins who were gay?
No, that's Diamonds Are Forever.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
That's
It's the
Mr.
gay
Kid and Mr.
assassins.
Wit, which
Oh,
I loved. I love
that's
those
wild.
guys. I love those
The
guys.
gay assassins.
Oh, I should see that again.
Oh,
And they refer to each other as Mr. Kid and Mr. Wit.
that's right. That's right. I remember rewatch. I think I had no memory of that movie when I finally caught up with it, like in the last few years, and I just thought, what the fuck is this?
Well, Hervé Villechaize's character's name was Knick Knack.
Nick Knack, that's right.
Okay, like Odd Jobs, yeah.
Yeah, that's another great name.
Poor Hervé.
Well, he,
But we're still
made some
talking
money.
about him, so he made his
Yeah,
mark.
he didn't have the best life after Fantasy Island. But
So they have not named a new James Bond yet. I don't think, unless I'm forgetting something.
No, but they.
So that's always a speculation because they're for a long time there was this kind of drumbeat for what's his name, the guy from The Wire. Forget his name. You know who I'm talking about, Paul, right?
You think? Yeah.
which
Dominic. What's his? Yeah, I know you mean.
Very.
Really? So
That was
I don't remember
a lot
that.
of people really thought he should have been it. I mean, not now. I think he's gotten kind of old for it, but
yeah,
at one time,
there's a big push for Idris Elba as well right now.
oh, that's what I was thinking of. He just yeah, because he was in that too.
What else was he in?
I know. I'm sorry.
Maybe I'm forgetting that because it's been a long time since I watched The Wire. I did enjoy it, but
he was he's from The Wire. That's where I've seen. I mean, I've seen him in movies and stuff, but
Well,
yes.
what else was he in? Because I'm trying to picture him. I think I know who it is. Chef? No.
Chef. No, that's
Sorry.
he was in the Suicide Squad very recently. Did you see the new Suicide Squad movie?
No,
I haven't seen either one of them actually.
Yeah, he was in the new one, the James Gunn one.
James Gunn is James
I
Bond.
always think he's great in The Wire. He really is. I don't know if he's always well used in movies, but
Well, give him a
he is
shot.
good. Yeah,
What else could be James Bond?
No, I don't think today that he's 49.
Right.
So,
Well, he could go under in disguise as a clown or something. I don't know.
that's right. He's still younger than Roger Moore was.
I've seen Henry Cavill's name mentioned as well.
Oh, okay, that would be interesting. Yeah, the guy who played Superman.
And and The Witcher and a few other things. So I've seen his name mentioned.
Okay.
I don't know. I get kind of picky about when they decide who's going to be the new James Bond, but
Yeah, Idris Elba is English though, so got
Yep.
that much.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
no,
For sure.
I think that would be fun.
No, I think he would obviously be great, but I'm thinking that it's hard to say who they're going to pick next time, and it'll be interesting to see the way that they shift gears with whoever they pick.
Right.
To be sure.
Well, right. I mean,
don't know.
I don't know. Well, when are they going to make a decision? I mean, when is there a timeline as when they're going to be making the next movie? Or
No, they haven't announced anything. Before we do that, favorite Bond song?
Oh yeah. We can't forget the songs.
Because they're such a huge thing. That's like a major event when the Bond song comes out in England.
Mm-hmm.
I will tell you that's a big deal. What the Bond song and being assigned the Bond song is a big deal.
I'll throw out two favorites. I think "Diamonds Are Forever" is a great song. Actually,
Diamonds Forever is awesome.
that's of the classic era. That might be my favorite song. Although "Live and Let Die" is that's maybe second, but I yeah. The other one of the modern era, I mean, the "View to a Kill" was on the radio all the time when I was in high school. So
Yeah,
Oh
Duran
yeah.
Duran.
yeah,
Oh,
that one again.
I
It's the
love
best part
that
of the
one.
movie. The other one from the more modern era would maybe be the one with Jack White and Alicia Keys. You know the one I'm
I
talking about?
see. That's criticized, John, but I really like
I
it.
like the song though. I don't know if
I
it's a good
do as
Bond
well.
song.
It's the song. I believe it was on Quantum of Solace, which is
Oh
the
yeah, yeah,
weakest
yeah.
of
It is sure.
the Daniel Craig movies. But that song, I think it's a good song. I'm a big Jack White fan,
Oh,
anyways.
sure, sure.
But I think that is a great song.
I'm gonna have to re-listen to that one. I can't
Yeah,
quite.
it's really. I think it's a good song, and yeah, it's probably again. It's like "Live and Let Die" in that way. It kind of
Cool.
transcends the movie a little bit. But those are my favorites. How about you, Paul?
Actually, this is kind of easy. My favorite is Carly Simon's "Spy Love Me."
Oh, yes, I should have thought of that too. That
Oh
Marvin
shoot!
Hamlish wrote that. That's classic.
That's my favorite.
Oh, that yeah. I didn't
It's
think of that
always
one.
been my favorite. I don't think ever see that not being my favorite. It's just
Oh, I
Very good
forgot.
choice. Solid. Yeah.
Oh,
it's such a wonderful song, and she's great. And again, going back to that nostalgic factor. So yeah, that's for sure my favorite. Of the modern era, I actually really like Chris Cornell's uh, song in Casino Royale. You know my name, which again people are divided on, and some people hate it, some people love it. Uh, so I like that one from the modern era. But yeah, Carly Simon,
oh.
"The Spy Love Me" is for sure my number one.
That's great.
I'll probably go with Goldfinger just for the brashness of it. I like that.
No, I mean that is a memorable song.
I think
He's the man with the Midas touch.
I think
I actually preferred her "Diamonds Are Forever" to that. To
I think that's
Goldfinger.
the better. Yeah, no, I do too. But
well, I read that
Goldfinger's
too, and I'm like,
very
yeah,
memorable though. Yeah.
yeah, I know.
And
I
John
think,
Barry, I think, co-wrote that, and that he must have loved horns. So there's that wah 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 in the background.
oh, I just love it. Yeah, it's so
great.
it's so
Oh
it's so over the top. I love it.
yeah, John Barry. I just before I interrupt you, Phil, but doesn't I mean he gets some credit, but he really was such a big part of why those early Bond films were so memorable. And
Didn't he write
they were almost
the main theme song?
No, it's some guy named Monty Norman wrote the
Oh,
okay.
Yeah, I mean that's in every movie almost. They have to have that in there. Do they? Maybe they
People
don't.
would
in
riot.
The modern one. Maybe they don't work them in as much as.
But
in the
no,
new ones,
that
but
I mean, he almost served the same role as like John Williams did for the Star Wars movies or the things like that. I mean that's how how instrumental they were.
Yeah,
So
it's
anyway,
hard to
Phil,
imagine.
back to your show.
Hard to imagine without James Bond without John Barry. Well, I don't know what I was. There was a Radiohead was going to do a James Bond theme, but it didn't get used or something, and that's a great song. But I don't know what happened there. Which one movie was that for? I don't even know, and I don't know why it didn't get used. But that was kind of cool. Why not Radiohead? That would have been perfect. Something happened.
That must have been during the early 2000s. That's kind of when they were really big.
Yeah.
So maybe that was.
I think the closest we got to a Radiohead song was the Garbage song.
Yeah.
The Garbage song.
World, they did "World Was Not Enough."
Yeah,
that was a good one.
Yeah, it was good. It was good.
I'm trying to think of other ones.
"Live and Let Die" is great.
That is a great song too.
"Live and Let Die" is great. It really is. I mean, it's just fun. It's a fun song,
and it just was perfect for that time.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know if it quite makes sense or if
It
has
makes
anything to
zero
do with
sense.
it.
Makes
Doesn't have
zero.
anything
It's
to
just
do with the
fun.
movie.
Yeah.
His Paul McCartney's word salad stuff, but whatever. It was so fun, yeah. And then of course, Guns N' Roses did a cover, so that was good.
I just finished watching Get Back, by the way. Did
Yeah,
everyone watch Get Back?
oh
Of
yeah,
course,
yeah,
yes.
yeah.
Yeah, I just finished it. That's a long documentary. Right there.
It's really it's kind of a slog. Yeah, it took me a while.
I'm just sitting here watching Ringo Starr eat toast.
I know.
And they're
Peter
trying to
Jackson
decide
really
whether or not
wants
to
me to
put
see that.
they're trying to decide whether or not to put marmalade on it or not. That's the big decision.
Yeah.
I
Peter Jackson really got into depth on that thing.
And out of all the memorable things in that, one of the things that sticks out is about halfway through, they're near the end of the day and just sitting around talking about nothing, and Peter Sellers walks in
Yeah.
and just kind of sits down, and it's just the oddest thing. the group of them saying, and then nothing ever gets. They talk some. I don't know what they were talking about at all. Nothing, probably.
Well,
and then
they were trying to get him to do something, and then he left, which is so Peter Sellers.
Like, I don't think I belong here, and leaves.
Yeah, I was Peter Sellers was so odd in real life, but kind of a dick. I'm glad they put that in there, though. Yeah. Well, of course I don't know. I'm trying to think of I don't even remember any of the theme songs from the Pierce Brosnan era or Timothy Dalton or
I think so.
What was the Octopussy theme? I don't know. Octopussy. She's got 8 vaginas.
Sang it, Phil.
I don't remember.
Octopussy.
3 nipples and 8 vaginas. So yeah.
Cut that part out.
They're all over her body.
So I think I think the song was All Time High.
Oh, okay.
But I can't remember who sang it.
You're an all-time high.
Yeah. Yes. The song was All Time High, but
was Phil Collins involved in any James Bond movies?
He was too busy doing Genesis and Tarzan.
That's right, Tarzan. Yeah, the Disney one. Forgot about that.
Rita Coolidge.
Oh, Rita Coolidge, yeah.
Rita Coolidge, All Time High was the Octopussy song.
That was a good song.
It's okay.
I mean, I wouldn't say it was the best, but
no.
Oh, fine.
It was okay. Octopussy is still very, very good for all the wrong reasons.
I'm gonna have to watch that. See if
it really makes me want to rewatch a number of these, especially the bad ones.
There's some speculation that Tom Holland would be the next James Bond, which I can't see that.
No,
that ain't gonna happen. They're just trying to get people upset. Cillian Murphy, he looks kind of like he could be a bad guy. I'm sorry. Yes, I am actually scrolling. He was in Peaky Blinders.
Web browsing with Phil.
Hey everyone!
So
can you hear my mouse scrolling?
Web browsing with Phil.
I predict the next James Bond will be Roger Jean Page. I don't know how to pronounce it.
Good prediction, Phil.
He looks like he would be a good new James Bond.
Oh, okay. Grace Jones.
Oh, jeez. No, she's good. Oh, Grace Jones as James Bond. Holy shit.
Maybe she'll be the next M. I don't know.
I don't know if she's still around. M or Q or somebody.
Do you remember how old that one guy was who played Q?
There's Llewellyn.
Yeah, well, the guy looked like he could barely stand up, and he was still playing Q.
And they kept rolling him out as well.
It's terrible.
Probably literally. I think this last one was a Timothy Dalton movie, and it was like probably shouldn't have been there, but whatever. They probably literally rolled him out.
Yeah. That's true.
I like what they did with Q in the Daniel Craig movies, actually, because they brought a younger fella in, Ben. I can't remember his last name. He was
Kingsley,
in the
no.
new Mary Poppins movie and
He
some
was,
other stuff. Anyway, they brought him in as the new Q, and I like that dynamic where Bond
Yeah.
was giving him a hard time because he was so young.
Yeah.
No,
What
that was
the tech
very
stuff. That
necessary.
makes sense.
Yeah, they handled that pretty well. Yeah.
Well, how about ladies? How about the ladies of James Bond? And then we could end on that. Maybe.
Yeah, yes.
Pussy galore.
These
So
names.
you guys know the whole thing about
Octopussy galore.
that character in from the novels. Pussy Galore was a lesbian,
Oh.
which, and talk about horrible things. Is that,
Well.
she's a lesbian in the Ian Fleming novel.
Interesting.
That James Bond converts.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Because of his magnetism. So I mean,
James Bond
people
can turn
complain about-
lesbians.
There's that scene in the film, of course, where he you could say he kind of forces himself on her in the barn. You know, they kind of roll into hay,
Well, literally.
and all that stuff. And that's equivalent scene in the book is way worse though.
Oof.
So that's as awkward as people find some of that stuff now. The books were more so.
They toned it down for the movie.
Because I mean, she's not. I mean, she doesn't come off as a gay character in the film, but
strange.
that's a
weird
she's
dynamic.
she's definitely a lesbian.
I don't mean being lesbian, but at the fact that he had to.
Yeah, no, because
Just-
his force of will like straightens her out.
Oh well,
really
and you could get into this whole hyper masculinity thing going on.
Yeah, there's a really complicated thing about the James Bond character, no question.
I think we could all agree Denise Richards was probably the best Bond lady.
Oh
Right?
my god. Well, I think the thing to say is they haven't done female characters well until recently.
Mostly not. Although Diana Rigg is kind of the
Diana Rigg is good, but I think in the recent Bond story arc that we had with Daniel Craig, we've really seen good female characters. We saw Vespa, Eva Green, who was amazing, and Judi Dench as
Judi
M.
Dench. I mean, come on.
I don't think that anything that came before Judi Dench and Eva Green is anywhere near them.
No, that's obviously
Certainly not as development.
Part of and
but that's obviously writing as well. Not that's no shakes to the cast that came before. Just that they write better for female characters now.
Yeah. Well, it was eye candy and stuff a lot.
Yeah. The whole thing is the characters having agency, as you will. That was something that generally they didn't have. Although one of the best entrances ever,
Ursula Andress.
Yeah, exactly. Coming out of the ocean there. I mean, that introduction is still iconic. I mean, I don't.
Oh yeah.
But then they reversed it, and Daniel Craig did the same thing.
Yep. I mean, that was such a callback. It's so great.
Yeah.
And speaking of Dr. No, which
connection.
Which I still enjoy, although one of the things that's a letdown is that Dr. No has such a build-up like that, and it has the Ken Adam kind of in the volcano, giant sets and everything, and the villain is really weak.
Yeah,
it's got that's the problem, or one problem with that, and the fact that, and one of the great comments made in that list that I sent to you guys is that Dr. No seems a little strange now because it kind of has to world build, so to speak, and explain what James Bond is all about to people who had never seen a James Bond movie in 1962. And that's why it's it comes off a little weird today. And it's 1962, so that's a long time ago.
Right.
Goldfinger. I didn't realize that Shirley Bassey had done. How many songs did she do for Bond?
3,
at least.
Well, she did Goldfinger, Diamonds Are Forever, and I feel like there's one more as well.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm not going to scroll.
She did another one. I'm sure of it.
She could have been a Bond villain. Why not?
Yeah, From Russia with Love was like, I want to say Johnny Mathis or something like that.
Oh, yeah, that was weird.
Oh, yeah.
Matt Monro.
Okay. Sounded like Johnny Mathis.
Doing his best Johnny Mathis impersonation. No.
And I know that Matt Monro did that. My dad liked or likes Matt Monro. So.
Okay.
All right. Yeah.
Funny.
I don't think my dad was much into Bond. I think it was just, I remember going, I couldn't wait to go to the new movie in the theater, the Roger Moore movies. And I don't know, it was a lot of fun. But also, I think part of the problem with the Timothy Dalton one, now that I think about it, is I just wasn't at the right age. I was in a weird age where I was like, kind of that older teenager kind of thing. I don't know.
Not exactly edgy. No. That's good.
He was trying to be edgy, kind of, but
Yeah. Any final thoughts before we call it a night?
I think that probably covers it.
We beat that one to death. Well, thanks, Paul, for coming on and talking the Bonds with us.
It was fun to drink some whiskey and talk about James Bond. Something that was very, very, very big growing up in England, actually. It's on the TV a lot. That's a big movie franchise over there. And I was kind of surprised to see how big it was in the United States after moving here, actually.
Well, for us, for me anyway, it's like, oh, these British people are so suave or something,
It is.
I'm never going to get a lady.
An Up with England franchise,
Yeah.
Oh,
so it's
very much a God Save the Queen franchise. Yeah.
But we loved it too,
Yeah.
And every now and then an American spy would show up and help him or something, or I can't remember.
Yeah, and most of the time though, the American equivalents were pretty weak.
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever.
Who cares about the stupid CIA or whatever?
Yeah, the CIA.
Get your own movie.
Get your own movie. CIA, get your own movie. Yeah. Perfect ending, John.
That's right.
All right.
Well, it's been a pleasure, gents. Have a good, merry little nice Christmas. Golden Retriever Day.
And here's the song.
Knick-knack and odd jobs after hard knocks. They hobnob at the henchman's retirement home. Thank you for your service. Here's a briefcase and a Rolex, a bowler and a Solex. Life is simple at the complex. Take tea with tea, have a laugh with Samadhi in a veranda by the sea. At the henchman's retirement home. Water skiing with Kriegler, shuffleboard with Bunt, paragliding with Mayday on a clear waterfront. Dance lessons with Mr. Kidd and old Mr. Wint. You can finally rest now after your henchman's stint. At the henchman's retirement home. No one calls you a goon or a stooge or a thug. If your drink is running low, they fill up your mug. No one tells you what to do, who to kill or
Culinary Arts Building. And don't miss Poetry with Jaws.